So this is going to be a little bit of a different video. Today I will be talking over the sparring footage of me and a brand new student in my HEMA club. And I want to talk about something that's very important, which is sparring intensity. We need to remember in HEMA sometimes that we're dealing with swords, we're dealing with weapons, and therefore we're dealing with something that requires control to be used safely. A lot of the reason why people don't spar with heavy long swords in HEMA is because they're going to spar, they're training for tournaments. And in tournaments, as it has been commented a lot of times, people do not control their blows. Now, I used to be sort of, well, you're gonna get injured in a tournament, yada yada yada. I used to have that opinion, but I had that opinion because I didn't know just exactly how hard they hit in tournaments. Now that I'm seeing this, now that I'm seeing how hard you get hit in tournaments, how hard other people are hitting, I'm starting to appreciate just how much control there is, at least in my hometown. You see, I live in northern Mexico, in Monterrey, where we do not have access to a lot of the HEMA sellers and protective equipment. So we have to make do with very little. I'm one of the few practitioners that have made the investment of buying proper HEMA gear, such as the Absolute Force fencing mask and a HEMA jacket and forearm guards and sometimes shin guards, although they're falling apart, so I need to get them fixed. But for the most part, most other practitioners of sword arts, I'm not going to say HEMA because there's also Viking stuff, and I don't know if that would qualify as HEMA. I certainly would, but there are people who don't. But in general, just people who do sword stuff and spar with steel swords, we do not have a lot of access to protective equipment, and therefore we make do with control. And I wasn't aware of how much that culture was really inculcated into the various different groups in my home city until very recently. So, when regards to this, I just want to get out the message of control and minimal gear sparring, because it is kind of controversial. When a lot of people see me spar with minimal gear, with only a t-shirt, for example, when I go at Arma or at Vikings of Monterrey and I'm fresh up the forge and not wearing my jacket and the such and using steel, people usually get concerned. But this is because there is, in my opinion, a very toxic culture in HEMA where you're not sparring by getting concerned by the safety of the opponent. You are sparring way too hard, and when I see people getting injured in tournaments, I can take a blow. I've trained Muay Thai and I sparred hard, but for some people that might be quite intimidating to see people getting injured in tournaments, and that's just going to turn off a lot of people from HEMA. So with this in mind, I just want everyone in HEMA to think about this. Anyone who watches this video, please think about the intensity of a HEMA match.